to show you, this is the design that I'm working with. And on mine, I like to make my contact paper the same exact size of my silhouette mat. That way I get full coverage, enough coverage that I don't overpaint. Also, I have this blade that I use. It's kind of different than the silhouette blades. This says it's a silhouette premium blade, but I'm not exactly sure. I ordered it off of eBay. I always set it to 5 when I'm cutting vinyl. And then on my machine, then on my program, I use the vinyl cut. As you can see here, I just use the vinyl setting, and I send it to my silhouette, and it begins the process of cutting it. As you can tell, my blade depth was a little deep, which is fine because this portion is what I need anyway for when I'm doing the stencil. So, it's already pulled some of my centers out, which is even better. But I will get this all taken apart and place it onto my palette and show you what that looks like. As you can see, I have my contact paper now positioned where I like it. Make sure it's straight. Now I'm going to go back and fill in all the empty spaces in my letters that need it. Now that I have all my letters, I'm going to take my embossing gun, and you can see where it's up like that. The paint would get under it. So I'm going to put the heat to it, and then I'll show you. Okay, I've used my embossing gun to help melt some of this down so that maybe I won't get any bleeding. But if you're still worried about bleeding, you can take Mod Podge and do a thin layer over all of this, and it should help seal and seep up some of these holes, because this board is really rough. So I may have to do it on this one, because my last few have been pretty smooth, but this one's got a lot of rough spots. So I may go in with my Mod Podge and do a nice thin layer before I actually stencil on my paint, just so I don't have any runs and mess this up. Okay, I have placed a layer of Mod Podge, which you can still see is kind of drying in places. Hopefully it'll seal up some of those rough edges, but if not, take your paint and use a small dauber. Get these at Walmart. And dab off any extra paint. And then go to your sign and do nice thin layers. That'll help also seal. So usually it takes me sometimes up to 3 layers to get this covered, but if you want a more rustic look and more of the wood showing through and it look like a worn sign, you could do less. Now that I got it covered in a thin layer, after I did 2 more layers of paint, I slowly pulled the stencil off while the paint was still kind of wet, and voila, you have a finished sign. And I would have to say I do like the Mod Podge. Never done it before, first time. Gave me much more crisper, clean lines, so I would say go with Mod Podge, do a layer before you paint, let it dry, and then do your layers of paint.